You're listening to Until They Sleep, a podcast where two parents finally get to sit down and discuss all the different things that run through their heads every day because their four kids are finally asleep. Thanks for listening.
Hello and welcome back to Until They Sleep. I am Daniel.
And I'm Chantel.
And let's get to it. Let's get to the
no recaps.
Let's get into the drama. Let's get what's going on. Okay, what do you got for the recap?
You're injured.
All right, so I am gonna blame it on cheating on the diet. I've been bad on it this last year. Maybe gaining some of that weight for cheating also doesn't help with that back.
And gaining it back.
Yeah, gaining the weight back. So, we can all point fingers, but ultimately, I think any issues that happen with joints or muscles, definitely weight always has something to do with it. Aside from old age, right?
But we're living in a society where what they're trying to say that being overweight and, eat all this junk food, eat whatever you want and be big and beautiful and that it's healthy and beautiful. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, don't body shame people. Let them eat whatever they want.
Well, yeah, because as consumers, it helps them out. They're probably the people that need that.
Pocketing their money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pocketing.
But, think about it. America's, what's the number one problem in America is that everybody's obese.
Yeah.
So
what's
the number one death rate during the pandemic because everybody's obese.
Everybody was obese. Yeah.
Right.
And all the diabetics.
All the breathing problems and everything, and reactions to the vaccine and everything. So there you go. Like obesity is the number one factor for all the steps. Yeah. So let's be realistic. So in America, we're all about the quick, fast, and easy food, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't worry about nutritional and working out or doing everything. Everybody's become lazy, like you said. Maybe we just want to be in our house and enjoy the AC or the heater, and we're not being active enough. So
we're definitely not as active as we should be at home. Like right now,
I'm active all the time because I work.
But it's a different type of active because you're always telling me, as much as I walk. And it's like, yeah, you walk a lot, but your weight doesn't go down.
No, because
it's a different type of exercise. Because
when I was following my diet, I was still losing.
Yeah, until you plateaued like most people do.
No, I didn't plateau because I would go to the gym.
No, there was a point where you plateaued and then you had to change it up to, restart your metabolism. But that's a different subject.
I don't think it plateaued.
I kind of wanted to talk about like sugar and like.
Right. So, yeah. So sugar was one subject that we wanted to talk about because of, mainly because, like I said, I've been cheating and I've noticed that some of the effects that I've had. And one of the number one drugs that nobody ever talks about in my mind is sugar. Sugar is the most addictive drug in the world, more than nicotine, more than marijuana, more than cocaine, more than anything that, more than painkillers.
Well, I actually found on the conversation.com, they were saying that sugar and tobacco actually evolved kind of together in the Americas during the plantation times. And that it was originally thought that sugar and tobacco were beneficial. But again, like everything in moderation, right? So maybe they did have some type of medicinal properties to them, at least for Native Americans, right, with tobacco. And I believe like in Greece and in Roman areas, historically, they found like little caches of sugar that were used to help with stomach issues. Sugar was used as a medicine during the Roman and Greek times. So I think maybe there was that kind of idea originally, but then, of course, the money streamed in, for all these plantations.
Was it really? If you think about it, the science wasn't really there, right? Before you died from a cold.
That's true.
Too,
yeah,
right? Or dehydration. You're like, okay, you're screwed. So we've come such a long way that, you don't die from measles or mumps anymore.
Yeah. You die from other things.
Yeah. So, even you with your damn Mary Poppins crap, a teaspoon of sugar makes the medicine go down. Yeah. I'd never heard of that until you introduced me to Mary Poppins. And I was like, yeah, give the damn kids diabetes while you're at it.
Well, but think about it. All the children's medicine.
Nowadays, yeah, it's
All
sweet.
the children's medicine is sweet.
Right.
Why?
So they can take it.
So they will take it.
Because they're addicted to what?
So they're addicted to the
candy,
sugar,
right?
right? So
Yeah.
so the yucky
candy.
tasting medicine,
Isn't it like 80% sugar?
probably it tastes like it's grimy even sometimes. Like
Yeah.
it's like bubblegum flavored, whatever the flavor is, but it's sugar. Like literally, the spoonful of sugar that they talk about in Mary Poppins is true. Like they put the medicine, the yucky tasting medicine, into sugar syrup so that the kids and even adults would take the yucky medicine.
Right. So even if you look at all the ingredients in any food that you eat or consume or seasoning, it's got to be.
That would be a
very
great
small.
challenge. So we should challenge the listeners to go 2 weeks with no sugar.
No sugar. Oh, they'll lose their minds when they start reading the labels of how much crap has sugar in it.
Yeah. You literally can't eat anything. Like, even, no fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You can't eat even sausages and things like that. If you look at the
Oh, no,
labels,
yeah,
they have sugar
they
in
have
them.
sugar in them. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Hot dogs even have sugar in them.
Yeah, some of
I
the
think
cold
that's
cuts
a good.
have sugar on them.
Yeah, some of the cold cuts have sugar in them.
Oh, how many things have brown sugar on them too?
Not just or molasses
Yeah,
or
molasses, yeah.
and then people say, oh well, it says it has stevia or it says it has xylitol or whatever these other fake sugars or substitute sugars. No, we challenge you to do no sugar of any kind, whether it be substitute or real, for 2 weeks.
Do it for a week. You know what? Do it for as long as you can and just send us a comment.
No,
we're gonna do a
you
post.
have to give
I want to
them-
know. I want to know how long you can go without sugar. My wife wants to do 2 weeks. Hey, if you make it 2 weeks, I don't know. Maybe I'll make some custom T-shirts. I have some custom T-shirts ordered, and we'll send you a T-shirt. Maybe with some proof or something. I don't know, but like if you make it 2 weeks, why not? But if you don't, but you try it, let me know how long you made
It's
it.
so hard because even bread, like if you're addicted to bread tortillas, like it all has sugar unless you're
Jesus.
making them from scratch.
Oh, the tortillas don't have sugar.
Sometimes I do.
Not my tortillas.
There's a reason I don't buy tortillas. All the dang preservatives and everything. It's so hard to eat healthy. It is so freaking hard to eat healthy. Like you only ate healthy because you went strict carnivore and you literally eliminated everything, even all your seasonings, right? How
Yeah.
many seasonings did we eliminate because of the sugar?
Well, I still do that with seasonings. I keep on looking.
But you were just on salt and pepper.
Yeah, salt and pepper.
That was it.
Salt and pepper, and yeah,
Just
that's
salt
right.
and pepper, just
And
to
it was
avoid
just
it.
a little bit of pepper.
Yeah.
Salt was fine, especially if it was like pink Himalayan salt. But then you find out that half of them are not real pink Himalayan
Yeah,
salt.
some of the Himalayan salt is not real Himalayan.
Yeah,
so I
so,
started
yeah.
ordering the Redmond's. I'm sorry, Redmond's.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but we started ordering that salt, that
Yeah.
rock salt.
Yeah, so we had to look into that. And then I don't know what I read that it said something about iodized salt. Sometimes is good, a little bit better than pink Himalayan salt because of the amount of that you have to take for each one.
Well,
we're going off of
it's
random
because
subject.
they want you to have because of the iodine. That's the
Yeah.
only reason.
But like we said on the other episode, sometimes a little iodine in your water.
Yeah, you can put. Actually, I mean, everyone is deficient in iodine. I mean, back to our iodine episode. Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, I just got a little
Cramp.
twitch. Yeah, like my lower back.
So I
Whatever.
did find another some more information. I think this was from the health.harvard.edu, and they were actually talking about some studies.
Harvard?
Yeah.
Harvard's about lawyers, okay?
Well, they still did a health study, and they're talking about how natural sugar, like the sugar that's found in fruit or dairy or even grains, that sugar, your body will process it slower than, drinking a soda or having a candy or some of this GMO produced fruits, right? Where they are now, cotton candy grapes, you know what I mean? When we go to the store and it's just a shock full of sugar, right? And they're saying that people have gotten away from eating these natural sugars in moderation, and now it's excess of those natural sugars, and then on top of that, the extra sugar that they add to the product. So you bake bread, and what do they tell you to add to the bread when you're baking it?
I don't know. I don't bake.
Sugar. So add some sugar to your, or add, and even fake sweeteners. It's like add fake sweetener so that you don't have that sugar.
So let's go to that one then. So people created a fake sweetener to help you quit sugar because that's how addictive it is.
Well, but it doesn't really help you to quit sugar because you're still getting the flavor of it. So you never get over the craving. Right? Like my mom. I'm going to use my mom as an example on this. So my mom has cut sugar out of her life. Like, I want to say like 90% of the time she's cut sugar out of her life. And she's replaced it with artificial sweeteners. The thing is, every night she's like, I'm craving something sweet. I'm craving something sweet.
Yeah, that's the addiction.
Because the addiction is the flavor. So the addiction
I wouldn't say
itself,
it's just the flavor. It's what it does to your body. Your body's craving that.
Yeah,
that
but
high.
the thing is, even though she hasn't had sugar, like actual sugar in a long time, my point is that, and this is also in some of these studies that I've read about, that artificial sweeteners don't truly help you get over your sugar cravings because they're giving you sweetness still. So if for some reason you can't get hold of those artificial sweeteners, you're going to default to the real sugar to get that fix, right? Your drug fix for that taste. So anyways, that's my point with that.
All that stevia and all that stuff, it's like a nicotine patch. It's just there and it's supposed to help you get rid of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're not going to get rid of it. It sucks. It really does suck because I remember when I started my stupid diet and like I remember the first 30 days I was like, oh my goodness, I was craving. I remember when I stopped drinking sodas, right? How much sugar was in a soda?
Yeah.
So then I started craving sparkling waters so that I still get that gas, the bubbly, the burping feeling,
and that slightly sweet.
Well, I don't know about sweet because
some of them
some of the stuff I drank that wasn't fucking sweet because the sweet ones I hated them because I had the stevia, and to me that wasn't sugar. It tasted horrible to me. And as I went longer and I would hit the 30 days and I hit the 60 days and after 90 days, like I said, it's always the 90-day benchmark when you're like, okay, fine. And then I started realizing that as I got closer to the 90 days, I stopped craving stuff, and I realized it was the sugar that made me crave everything. The sugar was the one that made me want to have a midnight snack. The sugar was the one that made me want to have snacks. Like, then it just became my one meal a day or my 2 meals a day, and I never craved anything else. And I would just look at stuff, and I would see it. There was no more need. Like, because there's times where you're not even hungry, but you're like, oh, I just want something. I need to taste something. I have like a craving, but I don't know what. And that's the sugar kicking in. From my point of view, that's the sugar. That's that addiction of your body wants something and needs something, and I think that sugar is horrible, and it's the worst drug actually because, like I said, it makes you want to keep on eating. It makes you want to keep on snacking. It makes you want to keep on drinking stuff. It makes you want to, gum. Like even gum has sugar on it, so you want to keep on chewing on gum. Or what does stevia? What does the sugar do? Like it makes you get diabetes, 1 or 2, type 2. It makes you get horrible teeth. It rottens your teeth. It destroys your gums. It creates all that insulin. So I learned it, and that is another reason why I went a whole year like completely cutting off sugar, and that including fruits and sodas and gum and candy and fruit. It was amazing because the first time I had a fruit, I think it was mango, and I crashed. Like I felt like, oh man, like. What's going on? Like I just felt like like everything was so sweet. And then I remember having an orange, and it was the same thing. I was like, man, that is so sweet. It tastes like I'm just putting sugar straight into my mouth. I mean, I felt good. I liked it, but I was like, oh no. But I noticed that as I started introducing sugar again, I started wanting to crave. Like I started craving things. I started wanting a snack again, and I was like, it's the freaking sugar. It's the sugar that makes this shit hard.
Yeah. I had a note on here that says, how do you know you're addicted to sugar? Even if you feel healthy, like people say, oh, I'm healthy. There's nothing wrong with me. But even those healthy people, if you tell them stop eating sugar, they're going to get headaches. They're going to have mood swings. It's going to be like a caffeine crash or like someone who's coming off of drugs. It's just like you were describing. It was really hard for you to do. Even my mom my mom has been off of actual sugar for longer than a week. It's just, she's just always talking about it. And she's just always craving something sweet. So she's still always eating something with those artificial sweeteners. So she's not actually getting over her craving for sweeteners and she's even told me the other reason she won't quit coffee now is because she's going to get those headaches. Same thing you've told me, right? You're like telling you need to get off of coffee and you're like, I don't want to deal with the headaches. And it's not the first time I hear it. Lots of people say it all the time. Like, oh, no, I get such a bad headache. I can't not be without
because
coffee.
that's part of the addiction of the caffeine.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the sugar. And all these different coffee companies out there, right? Their coffees are chock full of sugar. So now you're getting the sugar and the caffeine, and your brain just needs it.
Yeah, there's times when I remember quitting coffee for a while, and I don't know why, I just went back to it. I was like,
me too. I was off of it for quite a while.
Like within, if I don't have coffee within, 24 hours of the last time I had a cup, I started getting that headache and that migraine. And it lasts for about 2 or 3 days, I think. And then once you kick it, it's no biggie. But it's not as bad as like a sugar thing.
I do caffeine cleanses regularly, where I'll go off of it for weeks at a time. And then, like you said, I'll just...
Yeah, I mean, quitting smoking was way easier than quitting sugar. There was a time when I smoked, and I was a social smoker. I would have some alcohol, and I would smoke. Mm-hmm. And when I just said, okay, our eldest was like, Daddy, I don't want you to smoke. I want you to be around when I'm older. And I was like, all right, done. And cold turkey, just like that, stop smoking. Mm-hmm. But when I stopped the damn sugar, I was like, oh man.
And again, like you said earlier, it's because it's in everything.
Yeah.
So even tortillas, right?
Some tortillas, yes.
Some tortillas have it, but it's really hard to find some that don't have it. At least good tortillas, right? To find good tortillas
I don't know.
that don't have them.
I don't know. I don't see it on the corn ones. I see them on the flour ones.
I had read that sugar is responsible for 20% of the caloric intake in our modern diets. And that on average, an average adult man consumes 24 teaspoons of added sugar per day. That's 384 extra calories per day on average for men. And I would assume that women consume more than that because women tend to be a little more anxious. And especially when before their periods come and things like that, they're like craving.
No, I can see why men are the number one consumers of sugar, because if you think about it, all those energy drinks, how much sugar is on that? And like
there's all these sports drinks.
Sports drinks, yeah, they're what 60%, 80% of them are like mainly sugar.
Yeah.
Right. So they're there to help you gain the energy. Yeah, you're gonna get that energy at that moment when you drink it. But you're gonna come. But you're gonna crash.
And talking about crashing, you hear about. Everything I was reading reminded me about kids with ADD or ADHD. And so just to clarify, ADD, I guess, is attention deficit disorder, is the old term for ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactive disorder or something like that. So they're the same thing. But there's like studies, and there's other people who say that it's not true, but there's studies and there's parents out there who advocate for this because they have to deal with their kids with ADHD on a daily basis, and they've learned that if they cut the sugar from their kids' lives, their kids are more calm. And what I had read was that this was on the drakeinstitute.com, that sugar causes a release of dopamine similar to stimulant drugs. And so having sugar, like a sugary breakfast for a kid who has ADHD, they will crash like halfway through their morning after having that sugary breakfast, in the middle of school, like during school hours, and they're going to have a total meltdown while at school when their brain already doesn't function on a normal spectrum.
Right.
So now the teachers are having to deal, and the classmates are having to deal with the outbreak of this kid crashing from the sugar that they had in the morning because they can't regulate their emotions.
Yeah, but this has happened forever, though. I mean, the school systems, even when they give you the free breakfasts or whatever, or lunches at school, they give you how much sugar-loaded stuff.
I
chocolate milk in the mornings and cereals.
I understand,
right?
but I'm just talking from a parent, who knows that their kid has ADHD, and then they go and give them a sugary breakfast and then send them to school. You know what I mean? It's like your kid's gonna crash at school and disrupt the school behavior, the classroom, and our kid tells us about kids like this, who like at 10 o'clock in the morning are throwing chairs across the room or throwing tantrums or yelling at teachers because they're crashing from I'm assuming that they must be at this point crashing from their sugary breakfast.
I thought when you crash, you're not hyper like that.
No, I guess it's the way the brain, they can't regulate their emotions, is my understanding. They don't have control. Their brain just doesn't regulate this stuff. So they're all over the place. Like some kids get super weepy. Some kids get angry. Some kids just like get crazy and just want to run around everywhere.
I think that's all kids, period, with sugar.
Yeah, and that's true. But for these kids who have been diagnosed with the ADHD label.
If everybody got treated, everybody would get diagnosed.
Well, I'm just saying that there are studies where parents who are aware, who have noticed that if their kids are off the sugar, they're not acting crazy. So, and I actually I know a family where the mom would tell me, like we went out with them one time, and their son was the same age as our eldest, and he was acting up big time at the place we were eating at. And I had never seen him act like this. So I just thought he was just like a crazy little boy when we were out at the park. You were not there.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't remember.
No, you weren't there. I was with the kids and this mom and her kids. And the little boy, and then the mom was like apologizing for him and everything. And then at another occasion, we went to their house for a birthday, and he's walking around with Pepsi, and I think they were only like 10 at this time. And I was just like, your kid drinks Pepsi? And she was like, I know it's bad for him, but it's so much easier for me to just not fight him over it. And then later on, she's like, oh yeah, he's been diagnosed with ADHD and blah, 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 blah. So I was like, in my head, I was like, there's ways for you to control that as the parent.
Yeah, it's called a freaking belt.
As the parent, there's a way for you to control that. But, I guess you do you. And
smoke session.
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing is, it's like there's lots of parents out there who have kids who are running off the walls, bouncing off the walls. And instead of controlling the intake of sugar, they're just like, eat more sugar to shut them up. Right? Oh, like on Daddy Daycare?
Right.
Remember where they chalk them up with sugar? And then the kids eventually crash after, destroying the whole house? Mm-hmm. And that's basically what's going on because of the sugar.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, as parents, I don't know.
I don't know where you're going with it.
I'm just trying to say that I know a parent who...
You know more than a parent.
I know more than a parent, but...
You know all the parents. All the parents do this shit.
A lot of parents, yes, do this shit. So, and it's just frustrating because we try to control... the kids.
I let my kids have some candy every once in a while.
We let them eat, but we control it.
I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say our kids don't eat candy.
No, they definitely do. They have soda, they have cake, they have all these different things, but we control it.
Yeah, it's not a regular thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we make... Even after Halloween, right? The candy that might be like, you can have this, you can have this. Oh, they actually ask for permission?
Yeah.
Can I have candy?
We've trained them
okay,
enough.
we can have one. And then it gets to a point where all the candy disappears, and they're like, where's the candy? It's like, oh, hey, it was donated to Daddy's co-workers.
Yes.
It was like, because of that same reason. Like, we just can't, we don't want them to be addicted to it. Like, when they become adults, we want to make it easier. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, but it's so hard," and I was just so used to it, or whatever. Not, and I always think about CT Flash. I was like, "Who gives a shit? Like, if it tastes bad, it's good for you. Just deal with it. If it's good for you, deal with it. You know, it's like suck it up. Just deal with it. You know." Yeah, it takes sacrifice and it takes work. Like I hate stevia. I hate stevia. I hate the taste of it. I don't care for it. And it just I know that it just goes right through you, so there's no benefits about it. Whatever gets created to be added on drinks or whatever
Yeah,
that sugar.
I guess it's different.
It just goes. I look it up. I'm just curious. Like, is there any benefits in stevia? Like I don't think there is.
Okay,
I think one of the doctors that I listened to one time said that it just goes right through you. Like your body doesn't really digest it or doesn't do anything to it. But yeah, so I'm sorry.
It says using stevia can reduce calories in foods and drinks, but it may also have some adverse effects. Possible side effects include nausea, bloating, low blood pressure, and hormone disruption. Stevia is a non-nutritive or zero-calorie sweetener made of stevia glycosides. That's it. I mean, there's more information, but right there on top it says this is from medicalnewstoday.com. When you just Google stevia, it said certain glycosides in stevia have been found to dilate blood vessels. They can also increase sodium excretion and urine output. A 2003 study showed that stevia could potentially help lower blood pressure, potentially being the key word. The study suggested that the stevia plant might have cardiotonic actions. So they probably did some correlation studies, but as we know from reading many studies all these years, is correlation studies mean nothing. So a correlation study.
Well, yeah, no, because the main point is, well, I mean, it's just sugar is a bad thing. Sugar bad.
But it's not just sugar. It's the fake sweeteners are still bad because they don't help you quit the craving for that sweet flavor. So like at the end of the day, you're still craving something sweet.
So it's kind of like those damn what is this called? Those vapes.
I guess.
It's
Oh
kinda,
yeah.
It's
Like a vape. Like
yeah, right. You're not really like you're kind of smoking and it's sweet
or like
whatever.
Hookah.
Yeah, but hookers, I don't know about hookers.
Hookah.
I mean,
But hookah is tobacco. I don't know about vape. I don't know about vape. Is that actual tobacco? Do I need to look that up too? I don't know anything about vaping.
I don't know, but I don't smoke. So, but it's supposed to, people are like, oh yeah, I'm not going to smoke. I'm going to do this, and it tricks their mind into believing that they're still smoking.
Oh yeah, so e-cigarettes do still contain nicotine.
Oh, that's
which is the product that makes it addictive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So same thing. I mean, it's just crazy, like how many things have sugar on them. It's like I was saying, seasoning has it, cereals have it, obviously candies, snacks.
Yeah. Okay.
Sauce,
so I found like a history of sugar.
All right, hit this.
All right. So in the history of sugar, this is actually from sugarhistory.net. And it says about 8,000 BC, it was basically discovered. Is that right? Okay, so about 8,000 BC, they've been using sugar in the Eastern Pacific and Indian Ocean islands, where it grows naturally, right? It was spread by seafarers about 3,500 years ago. And the first chemically processed sugar or refined sugar was believed to have occurred in India around 600 AD or CE. And then from there, it spread east along the trade routes. And it was actually considered to be very rare and it was very expensive. But, they began to grow it in China and it actually made it all the way to Madeira, I think is the name of the ways. I didn't write it down, but the island of Madeira where it was grown, also grown there until the Portuguese figured out that Brazil was a great place to grow it. And so then it started growing in the Americas and in the Caribbean. And then from there, and that happened like between 1480 and the mid 1600s was when all that was growing. And then it became the number one export to Europe for all their sugar addiction.
So because it grew more easily and naturally in the Americas. Then it started becoming
in South
something
America.
else.
The
So
only
wait, I'm sorry. I thought sugar usually came from cane.
it is sugar cane.
Okay, so I thought that was a natural plant in the Americas.
It was not. It was
I don't
brought.
believe that.
Well, I'm just going off of what I read. It was not naturally occurring in the Americas when they discovered the Americas. So it was brought over. Allegedly, it was brought over by the Portuguese and the Dutch. The Dutch also claim to have brought some over. And the only colony in North America that grew sugarcane was, I believe, in Louisiana. And then at some point, they also discovered that sugar beets, the sugar from beets, and they learned to distill that as well to get sugar. But it was like such a big commodity to export and the Europeans just became addicted that it made Cuba actually rich. Back in the day, Cuba was super rich because of sugar export.
They had a lot of
because of the sugar exports. Yeah, so that was some of the history. It actually has 1747, beet sugar was discovered.
Well, look at that. I always thought that cane was a staple of our Hispanic culture, or like of our Latin Americas.
Islands. It's from the islands.
What is that part of Latin America, right? Well, Hispanics.
It was from the Indonesian region. And actually, in 2016 was the last sugar harvest in Maui after more than a century of harvesting it.
Yeah, I know the Polynesians did it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. That's a quick, brief history of sugar, but once it became refined, once India figured out how to refine it, and then it was able
figuring it out with the spices, huh?
Yeah, well, and they're the ones who exported all the spices across the trade routes. So they figured out how to refine it, to preserve it, so that it wouldn't go bad, right? And then even some of the other things I was reading was sugarcane was just they believed that sugarcane originally was meant like food for animals, and then every now and then people would chew on the stalks, for something refreshing while they were working out in the fields. But, once people figured out that it was delicious, that they became addicted to it. So there you go. Quick little history of that. And then actually, I did learn about sugar on an energetic level when I was studying Eastern medicine. Do you want to hear about that?
I thought you were going into
it.
Okay.
Because you're looking at me like, what?
Well, you're the one talking.
Well, it's just your eyes are like, what? Okay, so I don't think I've ever talked about that I studied to be a holistic health practitioner. I don't remember if I've talked about this. But, okay, within those studies, I remember our teacher covering the fact that, so there's these the meridians in your system, or 5 energy points in your system. And one of them is your stomach and spleen meridian, or stomach and spleen chi, and that the stomach is responsible for your emotions, and people who suffer with high anxiety will usually have stomach issues, but also those are the people who are eating all the time. And what are they usually eating? Is sweet
Ice
things,
cream.
because sweetness calms the stomach, the energy of the stomach. So again, this is something I learned when I was doing my Eastern medicine studies, and I just find it's interesting because it all correlates, or it all goes together. Where it's like, if you're highly anxious or you're a highly emotional person, you hear about what's the joke? It's like women are crying, eating their tubs of ice cream and cookies, right? Because of a breakup or some stressful situation. Yeah, exactly. So what are they doing? They're soothing their stomach energy. They're soothing their stomach chi. And it's not just the sweetness, but any time somebody's overeating.
Yeah, but if you're sad, right, and you're depressed, what's going to make you feel better?
The sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all related, because why? It's releasing dopamine into your system to help relax you and make you feel better. And so there is scientific stuff behind all this, seemingly foo-foo energy thing that people might say. It's like, oh, that's all energy stuff. Who cares? No, there's actual science behind it if you dive into it deep enough. So anyways, that's always stuck to me. Like that's why you have dessert at the end of the day, because you're supposed to be done processing your day. Like you're supposed to be done with your day. And so to help you relax before you go to bed, you have something sweet. It's supposed to be something. I mean, I imagine back in China, it was like maybe a date or something. I don't know, that you would eat for that sweet. It wouldn't be a giant bowl of ice cream. So
Oh, it would be a cube of sugar.
Or a cube of sugar. Exactly. That's a good point.
Right. Isn't there like sometimes when people crash, they're like, oh, yeah, here, give them a cube of sugar.
Yeah,
right?
give them a cube of sugar.
An old remedy. I
That's
mean,
true.
even animals, right?
Yeah, that's
like
true.
horses and donkeys that love some cube sugar.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of like stuff I've learned.
So you said you had something about diabetes and you were going to talk about it. What were you going to say?
No, I was just saying how you were talking about all the things that sugar causes, like the bad things it causes. So increase in sugar causes chronic inflammation, raised blood pressure, diabetes, fatty liver disease, and obesity, which are some of the things you said. Why is it causing fatty liver disease? Do you know?
No, you're the one talking.
But I thought you know some of this stuff, so I'm trying to have a conversation.
No, you're the one teaching us.
Okay, so fatty liver disease, it causes fatty liver disease because your liver turns the excess sugar into fat. Like the same way it processes alcohol. So if someone they say you have a fatty liver due to alcoholism versus a fatty liver. There's two types of fatty livers. You either have fatty liver because you drink too much, or you have a fatty liver because you have too much sugar in your system, or just you have a high intake of sugar into your system, and your liver can't process that excess sugar. And if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. Maybe I don't have all the facts, but this is my understanding of it. And so you end up with a fatty liver disease because of the excess sugar, which creates all this fat around your stomach. And then in turn, the fat just continues to fill out in your body. And it will cause cirrhosis at some point if you don't take care of yourself. And then for people being obese from it, well, that's part of inflammation, right? That's part of the fatty liver disease because your liver can't function correctly.
But isn't that the same shit that wheat does?
Okay, so wheat has other things because wheat also, I guess the wheat we eat here in America, or the breads we eat here in America, because they're all chock full of sugar and they've been super refined. Because we've talked about this before, I believe, where if you go to Europe and have bread, it's people don't have the issues there with their breads that we do here with our breads.
So why does your body turn rice into sugar?
Because it's a carbohydrate.
What else is a carbohydrate?
Potatoes.
Does our body turn that
Beets,
into sugar also?
yes. Potatoes. There's
Beets?
roots. So all the roots are carbohydrates. The wheats, the rye, the barleys, the rice, the grains. I'm going to say the grains. Why am I saying grains, roots? These are fruits. All these things are full of carbohydrates. Some vegetables are full of carbohydrates. My mom, it's interesting.
Your mom is full of carbohydrates?
No. She's working on her sugar.
No, I just thought it was funny because you're like talking about things and then you're just like, my mom. I was like,
because
okay.
she did something. So she's been working on her blood sugar levels. And so she's been testing her blood every morning based on what she ate the night before. And she's been writing it down. And she had lentils. And
they're really bad for you.
And she had lentils. I mean, beans are just as bad.
Yes.
So she had lentils, these are legumes.
Am I supposed to get offended because you said beans?
Well, because you always make fun of the fact that in my family we eat lentils and not beans, and it's just because we grew up with lentils, not beans.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're horrible for you.
So they're both equally horrible.
Yeah.
And my point being that she was floored that her blood sugar level was so high the morning after she had lentils.
And I always keep saying, that's bad for you. That's bad for you. That's bad for you. That's bad for you. Oh, no. And then now they're like trying to do the research of something that I've been saying all along.
But, we know because we've learned with experience, it doesn't matter how many times we tell people anything that we've learned. they're never gonna
No, and
hear
it's,
us
yeah,
until they
it's always
actually
like
go
that.
through
Yeah,
it, or
it's
they hear
always
it
like
from
that.
somebody else.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like that, and it's just sometimes, it's kind of funny because you're like, well, didn't I say this all along? Like,
Yeah.
why won't you
Well,
listen to me? Like, why won't we try this?
we
And I'm not just saying your mom. I'm just saying like
yeah,
even
in
friends and
general.
family where we have these conversations, and then they automatically are quick to judge them. Oh, you're wrong at this, and you're. But I'm like, well, I wish I could be me at times and be like, but do I have diabetes like you do?
Yeah.
Am I getting love work done like you do? Like my faults, my things that I have wrong with me are old injuries, right?
Yeah.
It's broken bones, it's pinched nerves, it's twisted ankles, it's sprained this,
Yeah.
sprained that. So it's not a side effect of other stuff.
Well, and so similarly, I was talking about roots, right? We talked about lentils and beans being legumes, which are
Oh, yeah,
ultimately
legumes.
increasing your blood sugar levels with people not realizing it.
Which beans are legumes, right?
Yes, they're
And
part
so
of the same.
lentils are legumes,
Yes,
so
yes,
they're part of the same
they're
family.
part of the same family. And so the other item that my mom loved, and we also loved because it was delicious when she would make them, were the tapioca breads the tapioca cheese breads, cassava cheese breads that she was making for
yeah,
a while. You tasted it once and you said it was delicious, but it was before you started your diet. And I would tell her, Mom, cassava's a root, and you shouldn't be eating so much of it because it's high in carbohydrates. And the thing is that this was being touted as better, right? You should be eating cassava because it's better for you than bread. So this is something that she had read, and I had heard the same thing from whatever. And so she started making these delicious cassava flour and cheese breads, thinking that it was keto and it was better, because it was better than bread. And then eventually she did find out that it was bad for her. So because it is still a carbohydrate that is still turning into sugar in your system. So again, roots, legumes, fruit still has carbohydrates in it.
Explain to me the diabetes.
Okay, so diabetes there's two types, type 1 and type 2. Type 1, I believe, is the one you're born with, and type 2 you develop. Usually adults develop it, but I guess there's a bunch of studies that I read. Of course, there's more and more kids that are presenting with type 2 diabetes because of the obesity within children in America. So again, all linked to the sugar intake, the high sugar, high carb, high sugar intake, right? Fatty livers in little kids too, right? Kids are not supposed to have fatty livers. So the diabetes type 2 is basically your body's not producing the insulin that helps.
I'm sorry, insulin that helps you to break down all this stuff?
Yeah. It helps to regulate the carbohydrates.
So if you're crashing from diabetes, does that mean that your body needs sugar or that it had too much sugar?
That I'm
kind of lost on that one.
Clear.
I don't know.
I think it depends on which one you have.
I just think it's funny. Like most people, when they get diagnosed with diabetes, they automatically take away beets. And I remember when my sister was diagnosed with it, and she loved beets
because of the sugar.
Yeah. And so I was surprised when she told me that. It's like, oh, I can't have beets no more, because that was like her snack. That was her thing. I always found beets disgusting, so I never cared for them.
Okay, so insulin helps blood sugar enter the body cells so it can be used for energy. Insulin also signals the liver to store blood sugar for later use. Blood sugar enters cells and levels in the bloodstream decrease, signaling insulin to decrease too. So when your insulin is not working, then your system cannot regulate the sugar or the carbohydrates that are being turned into sugar within your liver. So because of the overload of sugar or the overload of carbs that are turning into sugar in people's bodies in our diet, more and more people are presenting with insulin issues at a younger age versus it being something that adults later in life, like elderly people, would usually get type 2 diabetes because of years of eating sugar, because of years of eating carbohydrates. Now it's happening in a much faster and shorter span of time. And that's how bad the intake of sugar is in our society. The intake of carbohydrates that turn into sugar.
So then that just goes to prove, right, once again, that even little kids are getting it now.
Yeah.
And the fatty livers. So then, because I'm pretty sure somebody's listening to them, they're like, what do they know? They're just talking out of their asses. But the science is there, the stats are there. So it keeps on, it's just, you can't deny it. Like, sugar is bad for you. Sugar is a drug that doesn't get recognized as a drug. It's addictive. It makes you buy those products that you buy and consume them as much as you do. Hey, if you want to keep on taking it, by all means, that's on you. Just don't be crying later on when you're having diabetes, so they tell you you have a fatty liver. We're all in control of that consumption. So I want all of you to, put yourself to the challenge. Just try it out. We talked about it. We made the joke, like, let's do a challenge to see how long you can go without sugar, like cutting sugar off. You can make it a day. Can you make it 2 days? Can you make it a week? My wife says go for 2 weeks. I'm saying, just start cutting it off. I mean, start cutting it off. We want you all to be healthy. Your family wants you to be healthy. Your children want you to be healthy. I know that my children have been the inspiration for me for a lot of the things that I do, that I try to. My whole life, I think I've been very high on protein, because if you think about it, like, I always complain about, like, the fruits and the vegetables and everything. I've never been big on that. Mm-hmm. I've always been big on the protein intake. I think that's a credit that I can give to my dad, because he was always very, like, big on protein, like chicken breast or red meats, seafood, a lot of fish. Not that much shellfish, but he was big on fish. Was it done the right way? No, I wouldn't say that. But the beginnings of that road, of that paving that way for me, was installed in me in that time. Like I said, one day I told my dad I want to play football, and he was like, "You're too skinny, you're too small. You need to start doing this. Boom, boom, boom. Right? You need to start eating more of this. Cut this off. Do that." And I learned that I liked it, and my body enjoyed it. And even when I was in the military, it was like, it was a lot of protein intake
and beer.
Yeah, they gave us some carbs, obviously, but it was funny how much sugar they cut off, because we never had any sodas, we never had any punches, any Gatorade. It was always water. All our meals were water and orange juice. I do remember that, and milk. That was mainly like when I was in basic and boot camp and everything. That's the main thing that they always gave us, and there was a lot of protein, a lot of chicken, a lot of rabbit, a lot of meat. Not a lot of bread. They had corn, they had some salads. So, for me, it's always been like that. And even as I got fat in the years, and I remember you guys used to give me crap about it. I was like, well, you're fat, you're out of shape, or whatever not. But every time I do my blood work, and the doctor's always like, this doesn't match what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Right? And then when I would bring it up, it's like, no way. No, I call bullshit. And I will show people my blood work. They're like, oh, wow.
I wonder what your blood work was when you first got back, though. Like when you first moved back from Virginia.
Oh, man, I was at the biggest I've ever been.
I know. I was like, I wish you had taken your blood work back then.
Yeah, I should have gotten diabetes. When I came back from Virginia, people, I was a butterball, all right? I was freaking
you were pushing
huge.
300 pounds,
yeah,
almost.
Big Pun had nothing on me. I was big. I ate a lot. And when I ate a lot, I ate a lot of shit. I ate a lot of fast food. Fast food joints on a regular, takeout on a regular. Like, my schedule, my life was like just all over the place. It was sad, depressing, lazy, you name it. And my body took the toll for it, But luckily, I kind of snapped out of it and got back into it slowly. And I've been doing the roller coaster thing, but but I know that my kids are like my inspiration for everything. Like, they make me want to live longer, and they make me want to be around longer, and they make me want to take care of myself a little bit more. Cool. So it's because of them that I try to educate myself a little bit learn a little bit, and at the same time try to teach the people that are close to me some of those little things that I know. Like I said, I consume the info. I just can't put it back out the same way. I have a hard time. My Neanderthal mind doesn't work like that.
The kids are kind of scared right now with you and your back thrown out.
Yeah, so I'm in pain. I'm seriously in a lot of pain. I don't like how I feel. I don't like the pain I'm feeling. I feel like something's definitely wrong. A disc, a nerve. Something is not happy. I've had little issues with my back before, and I can honestly say it's never felt like this. It's never felt like this. This one's pretty out there. And it comes and goes. It comes and goes. I don't know if the meds, like you said, are finally kicking in. Mm-hmm. But the way I felt on Sunday and Monday and today, Tuesday, and it hasn't. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I feel bad for my kids because, they hear me grunt. They hear me, scream in pain in moments when I'm trying to move. I mean, come on. I've been injured before, and I've never had to ask you to help me take me to the bathroom, or help me go to the bathroom.
We're practicing for when you're an old man.
Yeah.
Even when I was in the wheelchair taking you to your
I feel horrible. I feel so useless. It's a feeling I never wanted to feel. Like I just, when you're so used to doing things by yourself, and I get frustrated at times and I feel bad. And
imagine if your back had gone out while you were at work. I would have to come get you.
Yeah. Yeah, but thank you for hanging in there and being patient with me and helping me out, and I'm thankful that we have good kids that have also been helpful. They understand.
Yeah, well, they freak out too. Like, I gotta take care of myself. Like, our 14-year-old, he's like, I gotta work out. I gotta stay fit. I gotta this kid. He'll have water with almost every single meal. I think one meal he might have some juice, but it's like watered down. But for the most part, but
I was the same way at his age, though. I was the same way. So it's good to see it. Like,
well, I just hope he sticks to it. But it's a matter of getting him into that pattern of.
Yeah, well, I mean, he knows stuff that he's learned from you and from me. He knows that the sugar is bad. He knows that too much bread is bad. He knows certain things.
He won't eat bread anymore.
No,
I always offer him, "Hey, buddy, you want a toast with your breakfast?" He's like, "No bread, Mom. No, thank you."
No.
So.
But I mean, like I said, I was the same way until
you moved to Virginia.
Well, no, till I moved to North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Till you joined the Army.
Yeah, or high school, actually. In high school kind of started because I was eating stuff that
you were
I never...
bulking. You were also bulking up for football.
And I didn't know, like I said, I the way that I ate at home was different. I didn't know what fast food was until I got to high school. Mm-hmm. I didn't know all those Mexican restaurants with the carne asada fries and chips and those burritos and stuff like that. I knew tacos.
Yeah. And me growing up, we ate very balanced.
I didn't know pizza either. I mean, pizza was a rare thing.
We knew junk food growing up, but it was a treat.
Yeah. There was never no Chef Boyardee's.
France.
There was never. There was no mac and cheese.
Our parents were not about canned. No.
Yeah, our pastas was like freshly made, and so yeah, it was just different. It was different, and I get it. The consumerism has just come a long way, and all this fast food and all this simple, microwavable food and
we don't even have
takeout.
A microwave.
Yeah, it's just different. It makes it easy, but yeah. So challenge is there. Let us know how you do. Let us know if you tried it.
Yeah.
How long you make it.
Just let us know if you tried it
and let us know if in your mind you think we're wrong. Let us know if you're like you guys are wrong, so you shouldn't talk about sugar. I love sugar. Leave sugar alone.
You know what?
Other addictions.
I've read studies that they say there's no correlation. You're going to find studies for everything. Everything you want to find, you'll find it. You'll find some study out there that says sugar's fine. You'll find studies that say, the artificial sweeteners are fine. You'll find studies that say all these things, just like you'll find studies that say it's not.
Right.
So
yeah, so
and
it's like everything, right?
It's like
it's either
everything.
far right, far left. What do you want to do? Do your
Yeah.
research, listen to both sides,
In
and,
the
and
end-
experiment with yourself.
Yes. In the end, that's all you can do is try it. Like, try it. Try to see how many days you can go without the sugar. And gosh, maybe quit caffeine while you're at it too.
Right.
Wow, that'd be a huge, like, look at the difference. Like, if you stop eating sugar and caffeine after a few days, I think that one's the hardest, because I definitely think that takes about a week to get through.
No, yeah, but I think
Like
I
the
can quit
headaches.
caffeine. I think I can quit caffeine easy.
Oh, I quit. I quit caffeine super easy. I do it every
a
few
whole lot
months.
easier than sugar. Like sugar, like I remember. It's just crazy. Like I remember what it was like. Like I would just look at stuff, and I would just start looking at what has sugar, and I was like, nope,
Yeah.
nope. I remember in the beginning when my whole carnivore diet, I was just like, oh man, I gotta stay strong. And then, like I said, at 30 days, the cravings for the sugar stuff started going away.
And
then when I started learning that those vitamin waters still contain sugar or stevia, I was like, nope,
Yeah.
I'm cutting that out. So then you're like, what can I have? Water.
literally water. You can drink
That's
water.
it. You go to get a specialty coffee or whatever, it has sugar.
Yeah.
Coffee machines have sugar.
Unless you just drink black coffee.
Yeah. And honestly, that's why I started drinking black coffee. And it was a whole different experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then it got to a point where, I started getting like the heartburn. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, let me slow down on the coffee. And yeah, my intake for coffee went down drastically too.
Yeah. I only drink half a cup of coffee
And there was
day.
a while there when I didn't crave it anymore. But like I said, when I started messing around and doing this experiment of let me add this and see what it does and let me add this. And I think when I started adding the honey, I started enjoying the coffee a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, oh, more coffee. But I still didn't crave anything else, right? Until I started adding like fruits. And then little by little, I was like, oh, well,
tortillas.
once a month, it won't hurt, or let me add avocado to this. And
The
then
avocado
I've
is
noticed,
fine.
I'm going to say no. Most people say yes, but I'm just going to say no because I think that's what led me to start going down.
I think it was the honey.
I don't think it was. I blamed the avocado because it's a good fat. Oh, it's good for you. Oh, whatever.
No, I still
and
think
then
it
I
was
was like,
the
oh, I
honey.
need this. Oh, I need more salt. I need this.
But that goes back to this is why I say honey, because the honey goes back to that whole sweet taste that we crave at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So
but
even
see, I wasn't.
when we're doing the podcast or when we're recording, what do you like to have? A cup of coffee
Yeah.
with your honey in it
Mm-hmm.
before bed while we're recording. So again, it's at the end of the day.
But I had coffee all day.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
That's not
It's
good. I had half a cup today, and that's it. Actually, oh yeah, I just had that coffee we picked up at the doctor.
Yeah,
when
I
we were
didn't like
leaving the
that
doctor.
freaking coffee. I thought
That
it
was
was
it. That was the
horrible.
only coffee I had today. Was the one we picked up from the doctor.
Yeah, I asked you for a cup of coffee earlier, and the thing was so strong. I was like, oh, I did
And
shit that I
yeah.
never did, and I was like, nope.
Our single serve side on our coffee pot took a crap, so I had to use the French press, and it was just too strong. I don't know how to use the French.
All right, tell you what, you guys quit sugar, and I'm gonna quit coffee.
Ooh.
See who makes it longer.
Who makes it longer?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to post that one. We need to post it and be like, I'm going to make a post.
Yeah, and my diet immediately back on. This is it.
We'll see. And it's really hard even here at the house, like with the kids and stuff, because like I want them to have and enjoy foods, like even sweet things, because I grew up with cookies and I grew up with all these different foods that we
Yeah, but
were
they're not the
allowed to
same.
have. I know it's not the same, but I feel bad sometimes. I'm like, gosh, I never have anything fun for them to eat, and I'm not the make it myself type. So, I didn't grow up that way. My mom didn't make stuff like that either. My dad's the one who would buy all the sweet stuff and bring it home. But no one in my household was like obese. You know what I mean? Like we ate healthy, we ate pretty balanced, and we had treats.
Wow, nobody in my house was obese.
Yeah,
either.
no one in your house was obese either. But I'm saying it's old school style, old school food. And we didn't eat a lot of fast food. Honestly, it's probably the biggest culprit.
biggest though, yeah.
The fried foods.
But that's the thing, though, is what we're talking about. Everything was made different, even though they might have the same name as they did back then. They're all different nowadays.
Yeah.
But
well, what my point was that I don't buy the stuff for the kids because of you.
now you can buy it. I don't care.
No, because there's been times where I buy the kids like pecan covered chocolate covered pecans, and they disappear.
Because they eat them.
You eat them.
They're blaming me.
It's not.
Look, there are two things that I'm going to say. There used to be three things that were hard for me to say no to. That was Oreo cookies, cheesecake,
The pecan turtles.
oh, those are good.
Well, that's why sometimes I buy the kids those because they like pecans and you're they would disappear.
White chocolate, I do like white chocolate.
Yeah.
No,
I don't buy white chocolate.
But usually it was cheesecake, Reese's, and Oreos. Those were my crack right there. Those were my crack. But once they added the soy, once you quit something and you go to taste it again and you realize it doesn't taste the same anymore.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Soy oil, soy lectin, soy flour.
Soy menso.
I really do think so sometimes.
Oh, no, I am. Oh, I know that.
So, anyways, sugar, and then there's all this other stuff. So, but yeah.
Anything else you want to add about your sugar stuff?
No, I mean, it's kind of not in the order I wanted to say it, but that's fine.
I don't know. You tell me.
It's fine.
You were the one.
I'm done. Yeah, I think I covered everything that was on there.
All right. Well, there's the sugar stuff. So
let's see.
It's a drug.
It's a drug.
Sugar is a drug. Nicotine's a drug. Alcohol is a drug. Cigarettes are a drug. Cigars are a drug. Women are a drug. Fast food is a drug.
Fast food is a drug. Fried foods.
Popeyes is a drug.
No Popeyes for you.
Popeyes fried chicken.
Well, thank you for joining us. And again, if you have any commentary on what we've talked about, please reach out.
We'll keep you guys posted. Let us know if you make it to the sugar. How many days sugar
How many
withdrawal.
days without sugar you can go.
How many things you find in sugar.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys! If you guys start going through your refrigerator, you'll be mad at how much crap you had to throw away.
I mean, that's if you even care.
Ketchup, barbecue sauce.
They do make ketchup now without sugar. The Primal Kitchen stuff, not a sponsor. Yeah, there's a couple of stores that carry the Primal Kitchen brand.
I find it everywhere.
But those are pretty good about not having sugar. So check them out, I guess. Again, not a sponsor. It's just something we use and we like using. It's been good.
Yes, that's my family uses because I won't be using it anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Because you're going to go back to strict carnivore.
Yeah.
You guys have a good night.
Peace.